Good morning. We are in the north of Australia right now. This is a mid-March morning, and we are approaching the city of Darwin. There's some rain in the area. As you can see over there, the sun is, at least in my eyes, blindingly bright. And it's not a very big town, Darwin. There's 100 and something thousand people here. And Darwin was never here. This place was named after him as someone who was on the Beagle, the ship he traveled on. Shortly after he got off the ship, he sailed around the world for 4 or 5 years on HMS Beagle. And then after he got off, about a year later, a guy that knew him came back here and named this place after him. So it's a namesake, but it doesn't really have anything else to it. It's not the farthest north we've been, but in Australia, but it's the last place we're going to be up here in this part of the world. And there's some important World War II stuff here, and botanical gardens, so we're going to go off and see a little bit of it. Try to show you a view from up close. Try to see what we can see of this place today. All right, this is a place called Fairbanks, Alaska, up in the north of a loop. Let's say there's a big highway that loops around the center of the state. And in this museum, there's a lot on Alaskan history. This is part of the university. And there's so much to see up here. In a cultural sense, like when you go to Europe and you get museums and cathedrals and whatnot, not nearly as much. But when you come out here, you're in the middle of this vast sea of beauty, which, if I can focus in a little bit here, I'll give you a better idea. If you look at the scale, it looks like that just dirt going off to the horizon, but it's trees. They extend for miles until you get to a mountain range way back there that's just enormous. It's just nothing but a sea of beauty here. So if you get a chance, come down, come to Alaska and make this loop. It doesn't really matter what direction you take it in. It'll go from Anchorage around up here to Fairbanks, over to Denali and back around, and then you can go south if you want, or off into Canada, which is, I believe, where I am headed next. Alaska pipeline. And this is how it was made. And here you've got what looks like about maybe a 60-foot whale carcass, showing you his what used to be feet, now morphed into fins once he left dry land. There is a section of wash that runs pretty much all the way from Fairbanks to the border, and again always with these amazing colors, these mixtures of green and yellow and white and gray and reds, and just mountains way over there in the distance. See? Always somewhere around. Just gorgeous. I mean, if you like that kind of thing. I know there's some city slickers that can't tolerate a view without a bunch of buildings and a whole lot of people. If something like this suits you, well, don't think you could do any better in Alaska. We're in the Yukon right now. Way up in northern Canada at a campsite called I think it's Snag Territory or something like that. And it's just a beautiful part of the world. I've never been up here before. It's about 8:30 at night, late September. The lighting is gorgeous. Welcome to Canada. Pardon the lack of noise, but and that guy's foot. But we're in crocodile land right now, and that guy's foot. Pretend to be lady, and gives you an idea. There's a relation between your body and a crocodile that might come get you. So I'm not going swimming today. All right. Here, there are tunnels from World War II that were built to set aside oil. They were never used, but we're going to them anyway. We made it. Pretty tropical for tunnels.
The story about when you go in is about the building jobs. As you can imagine, back in 1942, it was all done by hand. This was a sheer cliff face, and towards the end of the construction, they came across a steam-powered digger. Mm-hmm. That was towards the which they filled in when they built Parliament House. Back in 1942, where this white line is in the middle of the road, that was actually ocean. So this is all reclaimed.
All right. So this is a smaller part of the tunnel. As you'll see, it's going to get bigger later. It was apparently Singapore, Darwin, and Pearl Harbor that the Japanese attacked. I didn't know that. And they were going after fuel locations, military installations. So the Australians decided to build these tunnels, but by the time they were finished, the war was over. So just one of the many costs that war inflicts that are really stupid and unnecessary. But there you go. And then you get some gratuitous flashing lights around this interesting looking tunnel.
All right, make a game of it. For those of you who are able to make calculations, the tank specifications are this.
Can you quickly calculate the total capacity in
feet or yards
that such a container as this would hold. Give it a shot.
Finally learned the real deal. This thing's pretty darn big. The other one was small by comparison. This goes on for what looks like a quarter mile. Way on way on. But you can't go out. At the end, we're told you have to go out the way you came in. So, and there's all kinds of things here about World War II history. For those of you who are history buffs, what happened, and I guess why. That's an interesting one too. I'm doing on why people travel. Why do people go to war when it's so unproductive? So many people die. There's such great financial as well as human life costs, tragedy, suffering, all that stuff. People just want to insist on my way or the highway. All right, here is what's being called Darwin's waterfront timeline. And I don't know how well you can see this in the dark. It starts at 1839. This is around the time Darwin would have come through here. It says Wickham and Stokes explore this waterfront area and name it Port Darwin in September. Again, Darwin was never here. Wickham was the person who knew him. And without going through all the exciting details, it runs up through the 1830s, all the way up to the 1890s, where it says the first lighthouse opens. So, pretty remote area. Change wouldn't have occurred here very quickly, but as you can see, they did a lot of work to make it ready for war. There is the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, but it is just a light. It is not a way out. According to this film, about 300 people were killed here, mostly military personnel, because the attacks at Pearl Harbor and Singapore were bigger and more significant. This one seems to be largely forgotten, but it was part of the same campaign by the Japanese at the time.
Yeah, that other dude recommended the Senate House too.
All right. Hard to believe that that's just below all this beautiful greenery. Once you get out of the need to defend yourself from the enemy, where it becomes a nice, green, beautiful place to walk along the esplanade. More stuff about the bombing of Darwin. That's where we are now. Beautiful day out here. Nice and warm, I gotta say. They know how to bring on the heat after a rain. It's raining around us all day today. Hopefully we'll stay mostly in sunshine. This is the government house. These are the folks that run the show. Doing a damn good job. Keep up the good work. All right, here's a bicentennial park. I assume that means that Darwin recently celebrated theirs. I don't know how long this park has been here. The math eludes me as a result, but let's go see the view instead. Once you get out here, past all these obnoxious trees, you see a great view of the area north of Australia. Let's see. Over here. And we just sailed
in from the east, over the tip of Australia. And that brought us in just south of Papua and Papua New Guinea. Probably as close as I'm going to get anytime soon anyway. A place I've always wanted to see. But if you look around, all you see are beautiful sights. It's gorgeous out here. And again, not too many folks. If you're looking for something that's beautiful, hot, albeit hot, and it gets plenty of rain though, where it's not hot, Darwin might be the place for you. But as you can see, we are here at low tide. Tide is out quite a ways. Walking along the esplanade or the esplanade, depending on your persuasion. I never have understood this. I have lived in a place out in California where they have the esplanade, which is how the French would pronounce it. And I live in a place that pronounces esplanade, and that place is New Orleans. And you would think they pronounce it the way the French do. But however these people pronounce it, that's what it looks like here. At least at low tide. They have a little announcement on ships and sunsets, so you know when equinox is and what those flags mean. Very instructive traveling.